How's it going, fellas, and welcome to the channel where I kick back, relax and talk NBA 2K22, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play defense as a point guard in NBA 2K22's Mycareer, because they say defense wins championships.
Oh, it's true! It's damn true!
And it's true, fellas, it really is. If you can't stop them from scoring, it puts so much pressure on your offense to score each and every play. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play lockdown defense and help you guys win championships in the Mycareer in NBA 2K22. So if you like that sort of stuff of tips, tricks, rants, raves, whatever you want to call them, don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below all your thoughts and opinions when it comes to defense in the Mycareer in NBA 2K22. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you struggling? If I can help you, I will. Ask questions in the comments below and I'll be happy to help. But anyway, guys, I've talked and raved long enough. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is just a few things that you need to do before anything else, and that is turn on teammate communication. If you haven't watched my how to get an A+ video in the Mycareer, you should go check it out, fellas. But this tip helps a ton on defense, and it will help you guys if you see this video, because it does help a ton. Turn it on for defense. You can turn it on for offense as well, but it helps so much on defense. You will see in the gameplay when it tells me what to do during a pick and roll. It keeps my teammates and myself on the same page when trying to play defense, and it helps a ton trying to defend the pick and roll or just screens in general, fellas.
Trust me.
So the next thing I want to talk about is just a few badges that I use. I have 9 badges on next gen, and I went with clamps and pick dodger as high as possible, fellas. I think I've got these on gold, and then I've got a few bronze badges here and there, but clamps and pick dodgers are a must for defending players on the 3-point line, fellas. Clamps will help you when the guard decides to drive to the basket, giving you more consistent block and bump animations, and being able to get around screens easier is a huge advantage. On ball and off ball, it does not matter. Being able to just get through screens easily makes it so much easier to play defense, because a lot of the time the only reason why the AI gets open is because of some sort of screen. Fact. So the next thing I want to talk about is on the court tips and tricks that can help you, fellas. L2 is your best friend on defense. This will put you into a defensive stance, and you'll trigger more bump animations when standing in front of a player, fellas. So you will need lateral quickness. If you don't have lateral quickness, you will struggle on defense and find it hard just to stay in front of players. So if you just use the speed boost to try and stay in front of players, they will get through you time and time and time again. And using L2 when overrunning a player helps a lot as well. So when you're defending a player and you overrun it because of a dribble move or the player stops or something like that, and you quickly realize, hold L2 and that'll make you come to a complete stop basically. It'll put you straight into the stance, and then you can slide back into defense instead of overrunning the player and leaving him wide open every single time. So this next tip and trick is, like I said before, turn on teammate communication, but always do what it says. If it tells you to go over the screen, do it. If it tells you to go under the screen, do it. If it tells you to hedge, do it. Keeping the defense all on the same page will keep your defense from crumbling, fellas. You don't always have to stick to the arrow if a player gets open, but for the most part you want to stick with the arrow and stick with what the teammate communication says, so your defense doesn't just break down all of a sudden. Because trust me, fellas, your AI reacts to what you do. So if you do something stupid, they need to cover that, like what I'm going to talk about in the next thing. And always get back on defense after a basket or in the fast break. Don't try and full court press, because if you miss the steal, which most of the time you will, you're going to get punished for it. So get back in position. Keep the defense solid, because players will pick up your mistakes, fellas, and their player will become wide open because of it. So a lot of the time the AI just thinks you've done something stupid or needs help for some reason, because most of the time you don't need help and they just try and help anyway, which leaves a man open. But just limiting your stupid plays will help a ton on defense. Defense is boring, fellas. You've just got to do the same thing over and over and over again, but cutting out these little mistakes help a lot, especially on harder difficulties.
Excellent.
So the next thing I want to talk about is just body steals are easier and easier every year when the player with the ball and not your man, so not the player that you're guarding, but another player runs near you and the ball is closest to you, or in the hand that is closest to you, then put your legs just in front of it, hold L2 and hit square, and that will steal the ball a lot of the time, even if you don't have steal attribute. I have 25 steal attribute. No, I don't actually. I've got 60 or 70, but I've seen players do it time and time again with 25 steal by just using the bump animations that they have created in this game. So the next thing I want to talk about is just having a good big man. This helps a ton to back you up, fellas, because if you don't have that much defense, you need good big men, you need good paint defense, and teams like the Lakers, 76ers, Heat help a lot. So get traded to a team with a good big man. But if you don't want to be traded, you have to avoid the paint at all costs. Let the players shoot at times. Let bad players shoot. If it's Russell Westbrook, let him shoot the ball. If it's a point guard that struggles to hit shots, why not let it fly or make him let it fly? So the next thing I want to talk about is hands up defense actually works for jump shots most of the time against AI. This won't work online, but against AI, any form of contest will make them miss a lot of the time. Unless you're playing on Hall of Fame, it can go in at times, but for the most part, hands up defense on the perimeter against jump shots usually is enough just to do hands up defense. So if you don't know how to do hands up defense, fellas, you need to be moving towards the shooter, then flick the right stick towards the shooter to get a contest. But as a guard, you won't get as high as contest as like a small forward, but it will be enough, fellas. That's all you got to do. Just move towards the shooter, then hold the right stick towards the shooter or flick it, whatever you want to do, and that will get a contest.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
But when it comes to inside the paint, fellas, as a guard, you want to jump every single time. If you're 6'4" or smaller, you want to jump every single time.
You just blew my mind.
So the next thing I want to talk about is just crowding the ball handler or the dribbler. This can help a lot. You just have to hold L2 and move towards the dribbler, which will crowd him. Having the menace badge on will help a lot as well. They will force pick up a lot of the time, fellas. It helps a ton. So just hold L2 while they're standing still, dribbling the ball, while everything's going on in the background. So players will be cutting, hitting off ball screens. Just hold L2 and walk into them. If you have the menace badge as high as possible, this will help a ton. And as I said, they'll be picking up the ball most of the time.
Fact.
So the last thing I want to talk about is just double teams. If your player is dominating and you need help or you need a double team at smart times, you just want to hit L1 or press L1, fellas. You want to do this when players are at the hash or deep at the 3-point line and force them to pass. The longer pass that they have to do, the better, because it's got the best chance of being stolen, and it's not the most accurate pass because they're inside a double team.
You're smarter than I gave you credit for.
So now let's finish off with a few final thoughts, fellas. You have to play on both ends of the court to win games consistently on higher difficulties. There's no way around it without cheesing, and cheesing becomes boring doing the same thing over and over and over again, so you have to play defense. Hopefully, these tips and tricks can help you guys clamp up teams and take pressure off your offense.
Yeah, damn right!
But anyway, guys, I've talked and raved long enough. If you do like these rant, raves, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call them, don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below everything that you're struggling with when it comes to defense. Leave it all in the comments below. Any questions that you guys have, leave it all in the comments below. But anyway, guys, I've talked and raved long enough. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.